Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So we're only 5 months into 2025, and I've already had my first five-star reads, and now I want to talk about them. So let's get started. I'm going to start with my most recent 5-star reads and then work my way up to the beginning of the year. So my most recent 5-star read was My Demon Hunter. So this is from the Hellbent series. So I got this as an ARC from NetGalley, and if you're interested in getting any ARCs, which are advanced reader copies, I have a video all about NetGalley, how it works, and how to get started. I'll link that up above and down below, and all that good stuff. So My Demon Hunter follows Mist and Lily. Mist is a character from the first book, but don't worry, you don't need to have read the first book to really be able to read this one and get into it or anything like that. Though it probably will help. Not with like story or anything like that, but more of just like connection to the characters. So Mist in the first book is a demon hunter. He is a demon who also hunts other demons who have escaped hell. And he was chasing the demons from the first book. And that's how we kind of meet him. And his story starts with him having decided that he has seen what they all have and he wants that too. And so he decides to try and break away from the toxic situation that he has going on in hell to try and live a fulfilling life on Earth instead. And so the book is about like him figuring all that out and how to become human. And of course, there's a lot of scenes where he's not understanding certain things that are just a little funny, like not understanding ice cream or not understanding how to buy things and things like that. They're a little funny, but don't worry, there's not too many of those where it gets boring or overdone or anything like that. Just the perfect amount. It also deals a lot with self-acceptance and breaking away from toxic situations and things like that, with not only his story, but also Lily, the main female character as well. Because Lily, the main female character, is a witch, but she has a whole host of her own problems to deal with, and her side of her story is more of her coming into her own powers and realizing that she can, kind of thing. Both sides of the story are very interesting. There's enough going on that's not just their relationship that I feel like really carries the story, that really keeps it from getting boring or dull or anything like that. Because most of the time, books that only have romance in them, I find can be kind of boring. And so I need something else, like them solving a mystery together or them doing something else together to really flesh out the story. And in this book, both main characters have enough going on in their lives to where it doesn't feel like it's just their romance. And like most of the books, I would imagine, no. And just like in the first book, it not only focuses on the main couple, but also gives you a taste of what's to come. And so you get a little bit of the next couple in the next book, which I think is called, oh, I can't remember the name of the next one. I'll have it on the screen because I can't remember it. But that's the next one. And that's going to follow another one of the brothers and his future wife and his girl. No. But one of the great things about this book, and the first one as well, is that you just fall in love with every side character. Like, there is not a single side character in this book that I don't really, really hope have their own book. Like right now, obviously all the brothers are going to get a book, and Miss got one, and I really want the parents, the girl's parents from the first book, I want her parents to have a book, maybe like a prequel of how they met and fell in love and everything like that, because it seems like there's a really good story there. I'm not sure if that one's gonna get their own book, because I think the author's still writing the series. I'm not sure. So my next 5-star read was First Time Caller by B.K. Borison. I was really surprised this was a 5-star read. Trust me, no one was more surprised than I was, because I DNF'd one of her other books before this, and so I almost didn't pick this one up, but I'm so glad I did. So she also wrote the Love Like Farm series, which I really loved the first 80% of the first book. And then the last 20% ruined it so much for me. I was so mad. The third act breakup in that first book was one of the worst I've ever read in my life. Just so upset with it. And then I read the second book in the series hoping it would be better than the first one, or maybe it would all be sort of like the first 80% where I absolutely loved it. Because the first 80% of the first book I thought was going to be a 5-star read until that third act breakup hit. It was just, hated it. Anyway, I ended up DNFing the second book in that series pretty early on. I was kind of bored. I was just, life's too short. So I almost didn't pick up this one, but I'm really glad I did. This one also is just a romance, and this is one of the very, 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 very few exceptions for me where just a romance novel is enough to keep my attention. Because the story in this one is, let me just read the back to you in case you're not aware. I mean, I've seen this book everywhere online, so it's kind of hard to avoid what it's about, but just in case, I'm just gonna read the back. So Aiden Valentine has a secret. He's fallen out of love with love, and as the host of Baltimore's romance hotline, that's a bit of a problem. But when a young girl calls into the station asking for dating advice for her mom, the interview goes viral, thrusting Aiden and heartstrings into the limelight. Lucy Stone thought she was doing just fine. She has a good job, an incredible family, and a smart, slightly devious kid. But when all of Baltimore is suddenly scrutinizing her love life, or lack thereof, she begins to question if she's as happy as she believed. Maybe a little more romance wouldn't be such a bad thing. Everyone wants Lucy to find her happy ending, even the handsome, temperamental man calling the shots. But when sparks fly behind the scenes, Lucy must make the final decision between the radio sponsor Happily Ever After or the man in the headphones next to her. But it's described here as being Sleepless in Seattle inspired. I did not know that when I first picked this up. I've actually never seen Sleepless in Seattle. I've seen, of course, most of the rest of Meg Ryan movies. I think Meg Ryan's has been in Seattle. I'm not even sure. One of the indie bookstores near me is doing a screening of Sleepless in Seattle in tandem with this book somehow. I'm not sure how they're tying it in with the book. I'm not really sure because it's been a while since this has been released, so it's not like a release party thing. I'm not really sure, but they're doing something with this book and Sleepless in Seattle, and I would like to go, but I'm not sure I'm gonna be able to make it. But anyway, I loved this. It really did give off just Meg Ryan rom-com vibes in general, not just Sleepless in Seattle. So after reading this, I wanted to rewatch You've Got Mail, which is one of my favorite rom-com movies of all time. But I really like this a lot. Somehow she's able to make it where even though it's pretty much almost solely the romance is the main story, there's not much else going on, I still wasn't bored. I still loved it. There's so many of those cutesy giggling, kicking your feet moments. And it was amazing. I loved it. And I think their meet cute is one of my favorite that I've read recently. But it's making me want to give the Love Like Farm series another shot. I'm not going to buy the books. I'm going to borrow them from the library just in case. Don't have that much faith in it, but still. I'm thinking about giving it another shot. And then my next 5-star read after that was Scythe Sparrow, which is part of the Ruinous Love series. It was my favorite of the series. The first one was really good. The second was also really good, but this was amazing. So I didn't think I was going to like this one as much as the others, so I actually put off reading this one for a little bit because I thought the characters in this one weren't as interesting as the first book. So the series follows these three brothers. So the first one follows Rowan, who is I'm not sure how much I can say because there's a lot of unaliving, let's say, in these books. Because the first book is about two serial killers. Oh, I'm just going to say it. There's just no way around it. I'm going to have to say it because I can't say unalive for every single time I have to say kill. So the first book follows one of the brothers and his girl, and they both main characters are serial killers who kill other murderers. And so that's very different. It's very interesting. And then the second book is about the oldest brother, Lachlan, who is I'm not really sure what exactly his job is. He's a fixer and the cleaner for that's a mob. I'm not really sure what that guy does, but he's bad. I'll just say that. And then his main female character is another serial killer who kills off bad guys. It's not really clear if they all are murderers or not, but they're all just really bad guys. And then this one is about the doctor, who's the youngest brother, who tries to go on the straight and narrow and just can't quite do it. And then the main female character, who is a carny in the traveling circus, who murders people who abuse their spouses. That sounds really heavy and dark, but somehow it's written with a light tone to where it's really not that dark. I know it sounds like it is, but it's really not. This is another one of those series that I've kind of seen as a way to dip your toe into dark romance and stuff, because they're really not that dark despite what it sounds like. One of the things that I like the most about this book is that, okay, so there's gonna be some spoilers if you haven't read it yet, so skip this part. So in this book, they have a little more consequences for their actions, because that was my main issue with the first two books, was they're going around murdering and killing people and not being very discreet about it at all. And there's just absolutely zero consequence. Nothing ever happens. There's no hint of cops following them or anything. There's a little bit of repercussions in the second book, but not that much. And not from where it should be from, if that makes any sense. I don't want to give away too many spoilers. But this one, they do have more consequences for their actions, and that makes it a little more realistic, which I did like. Also, I really enjoyed the characters. I thought they were funny, they were interesting, and they didn't fall into that problem that a lot of books seem to have now, where they are just kind of bland because they're meant for you to sort of be able to see yourself in. And I think the author of these books realizes that we're not going to see ourselves in a serial murderer. So she's going to give them as much personality as she can. And did not disappoint. I really enjoyed this one a lot. Obviously, I wouldn't be in this video once again. I don't know why I keep saying that. But I really like this one. This is definitely my favorite in the series. I really wish there was more in the series, but there isn't. She's all out of brothers. There's only 3 brothers. But the author has announced her next series she's doing, which sounds interesting. I'll put the cover up on the screen because she just did a cover reveal for it. And it sounds pretty good. I'm pretty excited. It sounds kind of like the Ruinous Love series a little bit, but slightly different. So I'm really excited about it. It's on my must-buy list. So my last 2 books I read back to back instantly. Like literally I put one down and I picked up the next one. So I'm going to talk about them at the same time. And that is the first 2 books of the, I don't know how to pronounce it, but Fourth Wing. It's the Fourth Wing series. I can't remember how to pronounce it. I absolutely devoured these. I don't think I've ever read a book this thick, this fast. So my only thing about this series is that I did think Violet Sorrengail, the main female character, is a little meh. She's not my favorite character in the series, and I really feel like the main character should be like the overall favorite. But it's sort of like the ACOTAR series where Feyre is rarely anyone's favorite character, but the story is just so engrossing and immersive and everything that it just completely, whatever, that's okay. Oh gosh, so the story is about Violet Sorrengail, fun name, and she is being enrolled in a war college in their world where you get paired up with dragons, and she's one of the few people, she might be the first person ever, I think, who gets bonded with 2 dragons. Basically, it's all the intrigue that comes along after that. I usually don't love like political intrigue or any kind of like war stuff, but I really just devour these books. I did put myself into a bit of a reading slump after this, and I just cannot make myself read Onyx Storm right now, even though this was like months ago. I just completely burnt myself out because I listened to these on audiobook and also read them in tandem and had them also on my Kindle from like the library and stuff. And so I was constantly reading these for like a week straight and just completely burnt myself out in the series. But I'm still excited to read Onyx Storm, just I gotta give myself some time. But I love these. They were so, oh gosh. Oh, I can't recommend these enough for people. I tried talking my little sister into reading these, and I think I almost convinced her. But this one, I think this series is just a really good example of having something other than the romance going on, to where it's not really a romance novel. It is a fantasy adventure novel that has romance. A lot of romance, but that's not the main thing. That's not the only thing. Like I would say the romance plot, I would say is equal to the rest of the plot in this book, I would say. But I really like the series, and this also made me like actually start looking into other romantasy, because before this, I didn't really care that much about romantasy. I was mostly a contemporary romance kind of person. But after this, I really started looking more into it, and I found some more that I really, really liked, and I have this series to thank for it. So that is my first 5-star reads of 2025. If you have any book recommendations based on what you see that I like, please leave them down in the comments. I don't care how long my TBR is, I'm always taking book recommendations. But also, if you like this video and you want to see more like it, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!